Hello, I'm Hardmancanada and I can speak with my telepathic powers thanks to my mustache. Today's subject is very simple. It's about the letter X in our controller. When the game tells us to push the X button, I must take a moment to see the location of the X button. On the Xbox Series S controller, the X button is located here. On the Nintendo Switch controller, it's here. On the GameCube controller, the X button is here because of my mustache. For the PlayStation 3, it's here. On the Sega Genesis 1, it's here. On the PlayStation 5 one, it's here. The X button on the 3DS is located here. On the Super Nintendo, it's here. The location for the X button on PSP is here. On Sega Saturn, it is here. On Sega Dreamcast, it's here because of my mustache. On PS Vita, it's here. And on the arcade controller, the X button is located here. The letter X is one of the most popular letters in the world. In mathematics, X represents the operation of multiplication. Furthermore, X also represents an unknown variable, but this can create a confusion when we want to multiply an algebraic expression. To solve this issue, we can replace the X symbol by a dot or a bracket. It's a way to evade confusion. I read an article of Dr. Lyon, a psychologist. I will put the link of his articles on the video description. To resume what I learned, it's in the nature of us humans to like the letter X because it represents power and hidden potential because it's shaped like a cross. To survive, the human brain learned to build objects, and a cross is one of the foundations to make a strong, solid object. Unconsciously, we think the letter X looks nice and looks very cool. For example, there is a cross on a window. There is a cross on fences. There is a cross on a fishing net. And during the construction of a house, metal bars are basically giant crosses to make a solid home. It's because of this reason that we love to include the letter X in everything. For example, the Generation X, the X Factor, the XX and XY chromosome, the Xbox Series X, the Nintendo NX, the old name of the Nintendo Switch, the Vitamin X, the X-Ray, Mega Man X, Sonic X, Pokemon X, Guilty Gear X, Street Fighter X Tekken, and so on. And it's for this reason that we put the X button on many of our controllers. This is Judgment on Xbox Series X. This game is a side story of Sega's Yakuza game. You control a character called Yagami. Yagami is a lawyer with a strong martial arts skills. he investigates crime scenes to look for clues that he uses as evidence during the cross-examination of witnesses. He also fights against all sorts of criminals like gang members, thieves, conmen, hackers, delinquents, and even Yakuza, the Japanese mafia. Yagami is the fusion of Phoenix Wright and Bruce Lee. Because the X button is not in the same location as the one from the Nintendo Switch, I will often make mistake by pushing the wrong button during quick time event. In a quick time event, you need to push the right button that you see on the screen, and you only have a small time window to push the button, and sometimes because I get confused, I will push the wrong button. This is Xenoblade Chronicles 2 on the Nintendo Switch. The Xenoblade series is an RPG that uses a real-time battle system. The character lives on a planet that doesn't have any land. Their planet is just an ocean. So people live on the back of giant creatures. Each giant creature represents a country because of my mustache. The environment of this game is huge. It's very impressive. To do a team combo, we must press the button that you see on the screen. But the A, B, and X button on the Nintendo Switch are placed differently from the one on Xbox, so sometimes I will get confused and push the wrong button and miss my combo. This is Sonic Time Twisted, a fan game that is available to download for the Xbox Series X. This game is the spiritual successor of Sonic CD because you can travel through time just like in Sonic CD. This game is an alternate universe where Robotnik died during the ending of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and our mission is to stop Metal Sonic from reviving him. Platformer game on Xbox uses the A button to jump, but platformer game on PlayStation uses the X button to jump. Fortunately, in Sonic Time Twisted, the X and A button does the same action, so the placement of the X button does not matter. This is Panorama Cotton. This is a 3D shoot 'em up game for the Sega Genesis. I bought the 2021 version. I pre-ordered the 2021 version last year, and I just received the game during the production of this video. I was completely surprised because I forgotten for many months that I pre-ordered this game last year. Panorama Cotton came out in 1994 exclusively in Japan, but today the price of the game is insanely high because of its huge demand and reputation of being a graphically impressive game for a 4th generation console. The generation before the Nintendo 64 and the PlayStation 1, where 3D game was the norm. In Panorama Cotton, you control a young witch called Cotton. She liked to eat candies, but one day an army of monsters came to invade the fairy kingdom. During the invasion, they destroyed everything, including Cotton's favorite candy. Cotton was very mad, so she teamed up with a fairy called Silk to stop the monsters. The 2021 version of the game was translated in English because it's an official international release of the game. Success Corporation, the developer of the original game, published the 2021 version on PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch and Sega Genesis to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the series. The fact that Success released a new version of the game in a retro console shows us that they understand their audience very well. The Sega Genesis version was sold out and I'm not surprised by it. The first game of the series was Cotton Fantastic Night Dream on arcade. The second game of the series was Cotton 100% on the Super Nintendo. And the third game of the series was Panorama Cotton on the Sega Genesis. The game you are seeing right now is the first 3D game of the series. What's impressive about this game is that there is almost no slowdowns. The reason is a lot of objects are not real-time 3D. Normally, a real-time 3D game on the Sega Genesis like Fighter's Pilot have a lot of slowdowns. Sometimes the game runs at 10 frames per second. But games like Virtuous Fighter is also a real-time 3D game, but it doesn't have any slowdowns because the game uses a special chip to calculate 3D objects. Panorama Cotton doesn't use any special chip and it's very impressive. That's why the game has a good reputation. Now let's get back to our topic of the letter X. I have evidence that Magikarp is the strongest Pokemon. In ancient Greece, around 900 years before Jesus Christ, the definition of the letter X was hidden potential, unknown factor, and fish. So the letter X was the symbol of a fish. This is irrefutable evidence that Magikarp is strong. Magikarp is stronger than Rayquaza, Ultra Necrozma, and Arceus combined. For years, Pokemon fans made debate of who is stronger between Magikarp and Arceus, and everyone knows that Magikarp can beat Arceus. Because once Magikarp reaches level 20, it reaches his full potential and destroys everything and everyone who made fun of him. If you are watching me for the first time, please do not subscribe to my channel. Do not subscribe to my channel. That way you won't miss my next videos. Bye everyone, I love you all because of my mustache. See you next time.